Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing an Audi A8. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the owner, Sam, for giving me some time with his new A8. Now you guys probably remember another one of Sam's vehicles that I've already reviewed, and that is the 10th Anniversary Edition Limited that I reviewed when it was stock, and then also after he lifted it. So awesome guy with some awesome cars, really appreciate it. And then as always, on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 3-liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It is good for 335 horsepower and then 369 pound-feet of torque. You can also get an optional 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that also goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission, good for 453 horsepower and then 487 pound-feet of torque. As cool as that engine is, the V6 is quite a bit more popular. Now let's go over the front end of the A8, which is very simplistic and stately, frankly. So first off, we've got these prominent body lines here on either side of the hood, but notice that the hood for the most part doesn't have a lot going on, which I think looks really good, but it is massive, I will mention that. Now we have our signature Audi logo here on the front with the camera there down below the logo, and then you guys can see here with the LED daytime running lights and headlights, looks super distinctive. And we do have parking sensors integrated into the front end as well. Overall, this car doesn't necessarily look the best in photos and in videos, but in person, because of the proportions and everything, it actually looks really good. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 265/40/20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then as for the wheel design, I feel like it has like a classic luxury car wheel. So you've got the silver on the top and then the metallic gray below that. Now this does also come with air suspension. You guys can see the chrome trim there at the bottom and then all along that bottom portion right there. It's also on top of the door handles, which is interesting, around the windows as well. And if we take a few steps back, you guys can kind of see like the size of this car in proportion to like the parking spaces. It's a long car. So here's our key fob for the A8. You got the Audi logo here. We've got our unlock and our lock function, then the opening here for the trunk. And what you guys will notice is we have tons of storage space here in the back of the A8, and the carpeting also is actually really nice. And then we do have a spare tire just underneath. Now this does have the like trunk kick system where you can put your foot underneath to open and close the trunk, and well, that is the first time that has worked, like the first time when I've done it on the car. That's pretty impressive. So I guess we'll move from that to finishing things up with the rear. So we have the Audi logo here on the back, and then you guys can see with the taillights sequential, which is really cool. Now I'm gonna lock it quickly and then unlock it so you guys can see the light bar here on the back. Really cool overall. And you got the A8 L badge because this is the L, and then the Quattro badge there as well, and there you go. Now let's go over the door panel here in the rear. We've got really nice wood trim here at the top, as you can see, and then Alcantara down below that, and then I like how we have these like random storage pockets on it, and then more of that wood trim. Leather's really nice. Now we have a bunch of controls here in the back. So we've got our window controls, but these also control the sunshades, so you can see those pop out. Pretty common thing for modern luxury cars to have like automatic sunshades, which is pretty fun. And then you also got more controls for like the sunroof and everything. And then we've got the seats here in the rear, really nice leather. You can see the design in the center of the seat, and then also look at the metallic plaque. And then we'll pop in. Whoa! Look at those vacuum lines, and I kind of just ruined them. Sorry. But anyways, tons of room. Like crazy amounts of room. And also this headrest is so pillowy. But notice storage space right there. We've got some vents and got a couple 12 volts right there. And let's see if this does the same thing that the front does. We're going to turn off both of the vents. Okay, so they just close here. There's a fun party trick at the front that you guys will see in a moment. Anyways, we've got our whole like climate control situation here in the back. So notice we both have our own climate zone, and on top of that we've got heated seats here in the back. And then you've got like the storage space right here. And yeah, overall this is a nice place to be, and just look at how pillowy those are. And then here's a quick look at the sunroof. Also, I guess I forgot to mention, you can't have like a luxury car if you don't have a mirror where you can stare at yourself. Like it's definitely a must. Let's head to the front. Now going over the front door panel, it's identical to the rear with all of the trim, even little storage pocket, which is definitely fun. We do have memory seats, and then here's a quick look at the mirrors, and then all of our window controls right here. And then I do want to mention that these doors are soft closing, so boom, pretty cool feature. And then the release is actually electronic, so you barely have to pull, and then it pops the door, which is pretty cool. And then here's a quick look at the front seats. Again, really nice leather all throughout, and then you can see the power adjustments. And then here's a better look at like the bottom portion of the seat. Pretty normal pedal layout. And then we have our light controls here on the side, and then this is the cool thing. So if I turn off the airflow for the vent, takes a second. Don't get camera shy. Oh, it's doing it. It closes up, and then you have like a piece of wood trim that replaces it. And then if I open up the vent, then it'll do the same thing again. I don't know, it's just interesting. But anyways, let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel for the A8. You can see really nice leather trim all around with our darker stitching there on the center portion, and then more stitching around the airbag cover with our Audi logo. We've got our voice command phone controls on one side, and then you guys can see some controls for the center stack. We'll go over that in just a moment. Really nice paddle shifters here on the back of the steering wheel. And then we have like a million stocks here. It's kind of like an Audi thing. Like your cruise control, turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock, but they all look really cool, which is fun. Anyways, there's the steering wheel. Now here is the center gauge cluster. This is Audi's virtual cockpit, which is pretty cool. Notice I can change like the view to make it so it's like full map screen. This basically doubles as like a second infotainment system. So like you pretty much have all the same features on this as you do in the center screen, pretty much. I think it looks great. I love how it says that we're off-road, by the way. This is off-road. Hey, Audi's saying it, not me. I don't make the rules here. But yeah, other than that, I think it looks great, and it's cool that you've got that ability to use this as, like I said, kind of like a second infotainment screen. But unlike the Audi R8, this actually has a real infotainment screen. So first off, we pop into reverse. We do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And notice if I angle the steering wheel enough, the actual camera view turns, which is pretty fun. We also have a 3-dimensional view. So this is pretty cool. This is like the luxury car thing to do. I wonder who would drive a purple Wrangler, by the way. It's kind of pink. I should say pink, but it looks purple in the camera view. Probably a weirdo. Anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment screen, you have a shortcut bar here on the side, and the actual response time of the screen is really good. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this is it has the like haptic feedback buttons where you have to like press in pretty hard for anything to happen. But notice also we can like adjust everything with this. So we've got some different drive modes. We got a comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. Dynamic obviously for sporty driving, and then comfort for luxury driving. And the dynamic does make the car a little bit louder. And then this does have massaging seats, so you can see over here with the massage function, and tons of adjustment with the seats as well. So there's just a bunch of different features. Again, that clicking thing, like it's something that takes a while to get used to, but overall, I think it's a good infotainment system. And then we have a second screen down below because, well, yeah, you gotta have a lot of screens in luxury cars. Now, something that's pretty cool is you can actually have the heated and cooled seats on at the same exact time. And Sam was telling me that it's a very strange experience to have them both on at the same time, but I guess that floats some people's boats. This is basically a climate screen though, but there are different functions you can also control. So like you've got this button right here, that'll turn off that top screen. So this one I guess is always illuminated. And you got stuff for like the shade, for example, and then like your lane departure, auto stop start. And then also our drive mode select button is also here. So that'll pull this up where you can switch between the different drive modes. And double screen setup also, if you have the heated seats on, it also heats the armrest. Now I've got analog controls for like the camera and then the safety tech. It's like a shortcut to that. And then you guys saw the stop start earlier. Shifter for that 8-speed automatic, and then the parking brake, and then nice trim that covers the cup holders. And then just normal center console setup, but it opens up with the 2 different sides. And notice more wood trim across the dash. So I guess if we closed all of the vents, so if we close these ones as well, then this one should, in theory, close. It's very slow though. Yeah, so you can have that closed, and then you have the vent in the side closed, so you can have like just continuous wood trim all across. But we're going to keep it open because, well, I like to be cozy. I love how it says Quattro there. And then normal glove box, nothing crazy happening with that. And then last but not least, we do have a double sunroof situation. So you guys already saw the sunroof in the back. We also have the front sunroof as well. So you have the controls for that whole setup right here. Pretty straightforward, and there you go. Now with that being said, let's see how the A8 drives, and I want to compare this to the BMW 7 Series, Mercedes S-Class, Genesis G90, then also the Lexus LS, because you've got quite a few vehicles in this luxury segment. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. So you guys can see the visibility over the hood and the heads-up display as well. And nice leather here on the dash. Both the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So setting off in the A8 L. And first off, Sam told me that this is one of the quietest cars on the planet. And that's not just like him saying it because he owns it, but that's because of the rating that this car gets. And I can tell you right now, it is crazy how well insulated this is. It is just like, I don't hear anything happening. I mean, I can hear the air conditioned seat working. Actually, I'm gonna put on both just for demonstration's sake, just to tell you guys what it feels like, because I think that's so interesting that you can do the heated and air conditioned seat on at the same time. Other stuff, seat comfort's amazing with this car. It is just, yeah, it's super, super comfortable. Like the leather, really nice. And I guess I'm in dynamic mode. I didn't even realize that. Did I accidentally pop it into dynamic? So let's go back to auto mode. There we go. But yeah, just really comfortable seats. So continuing along here in the A8L, I want to see kind of how this does at higher speeds. The ride quality and all that. Yeah, it just floats. Wow. See, when I think of Audi, I don't think of luxury, honestly. I think of like, because I think RS7, you know, RS3, R8, like I think of all their sports sedans and cars. And so I don't really like, I always think of sporty and like quick and, you know, cool looks. And going over that little bump there, nothing. That's cool. But yeah, I don't think of, I really don't think of like luxury. That's what's so crazy about this. Okay, yeah, having the heated seat and air conditioned seat on is not my thing. That just, like, it mostly feels warm. And you can still hear the air conditioned seat, but it just feels like warm with like a slight breeze. It's, maybe for like fall that might make sense. I don't know, but that just feels weird. I'm not about that. And noise insulation though, seriously, fantastic. It's just so quiet in here. This is like the perfect daily driver. Don't hear the engine. Like nothing. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not saying a lot, but it's just interesting. Also, yeah, I can feel like the armrest that's warmer. That is strange. So I will change it, put it into dynamic mode. So it does adjust the suspension based on the mode that you're in. So see how this accelerates. It's actually pretty decent. I want to see how the paddles respond. Pop into the S mode too while we're at it. Yeah, the 8-speed's great. The 8-speed is great. Just pop it back into automatic. Okay, so yeah, just hold the plus paddle and then we'll take it out of the S mode. So yeah, let's sum things up here with the A8L. So first off, I think this thing looks amazing on the outside. Actually, like seeing it in person, again, whenever I saw like pictures or videos of this, I was kind of like, oh, it just looks like a big bulky Audi. And yes, it is a big Audi, but it has like presence actually, which is surprising, but it still has Audi's, you know, minimalist styling, which I think looks really good. Interior is actually a lot nicer than I expected too. Like seat comfort's amazing. Touch points are also really nice as well. Like it does all the luxury car stuff from an interior perspective. And then the driving is where this really shines. It's so comfortable, it's so quiet, and like, yeah, it's an amazing luxury experience. Let's actually pop into the comfort setting. So it'll adjust the suspension again. And by the way, this is constantly like adjusting the suspension. It's like reading the road and everything too. And you can tell because again, like, it's just smooth. Wow. So yeah, really good luxury car. I'm surprised. Quickly comparing it to all of the other cars, S-Class, yeah, definitely has a little bit more flair because it, with the looks on the outside and then the interior with like its crazy ambient lighting and all that, but also a lot more expensive to get similar packaging. BMW 7 Series, I've reviewed the 22, but I haven't reviewed the 23. I'd say that that's pretty close to this, but the BMW isn't quite as like comfortable, if that makes sense. It definitely is more on the sporty side of things. And then the Genesis has a lot of features at a lower price, but again, this, I feel like wins in ride quality, and the Lexus definitely feels most outdated out of the bunch. That is for sure. And so I guess the big benefit here with the Audi that I see in this segment is the fact that this just feels so like old school luxury, like just really comfortable. And the other cars are really comfortable too. The S-Class for sure, super comfortable. There's no denying that, but I feel like this does it at a slightly more reasonable price point. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the A8 L. It's